Hello, Social Security beneficiaries. I've got critical information about your January 2025 payments that you absolutely need to know. Many recipients are confused about the upcoming schedule changes, but don't worry. I'm going to break everything down clearly and make sure you know exactly when to expect your benefits. Here's the thing. The Social Security Administration has announced some significant adjustments to the payment calendar that will affect millions of beneficiaries. Whether you receive retirement, disability, or SSI benefits, these changes could impact when your money arrives. And with the cost of living continuing to rise, knowing precisely when your payments will hit your account is more important than ever. I've spent the past 15 years helping people navigate Social Security, and I can tell you that understanding these payment schedules is absolutely crucial for managing your monthly budget effectively. Just last week, I helped Sarah, one of my viewers, avoid potential late fees by making sure she knew about a critical date change that would have caught her off guard. In this video, we'll cover the complete January 2025 payment schedule, special changes affecting certain birth dates, what to do if your payment date falls on a holiday, how the new schedule might affect direct deposits, important deadlines you can't afford to miss. If you want to make sure you never miss a payment update, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications. And if you know anyone else who receives Social Security benefits, share this video with them. They'll thank you for it. Let's dive into these crucial payment dates that every beneficiary needs to mark on their calendar right now. Let's start with the most important information you need to know about January 2025 Social Security payment schedule. The Social Security Administration has made some significant changes that will affect how and when you receive your benefits. And I want to make sure you understand exactly what's happening so you can plan accordingly. First, let me address the biggest change that's causing some confusion among beneficiaries. For those of you who normally receive your payments on the second Wednesday of each month, your January 2025 payment will actually arrive on January 8th instead of January 15th. This is due to the way the federal holiday schedule aligns with the regular payment calendar. I know this might seem like a small change, but it can make a big difference when you're planning your monthly expenses. I recently heard from Mary, one of our regular viewers, who shared how a similar schedule change last year caught her completely off guard. She had several automatic bill payments set up for the 15th of the month, assuming her Social Security payment would arrive by then as usual. When the payment date shifted, she nearly missed some important payments. That's exactly why I'm sharing this information with you now, so you can adjust your bill payment dates if needed and avoid any potential late fees or stress. Now, for those of you who receive your payments based on your birth date, the schedule is also seeing some adjustments. If your birthday falls between the 1st and 10th of the month, your payment will arrive on January 8th. For birthdays between the 11th and 20th, expect your payment on January 15th. And for birthdays between the 21st and 31st, your payment will arrive on January 22nd. However, here's something crucial you need to know. If any of these dates fall on a weekend or federal holiday, your payment will arrive on the previous business day. Let's talk about SSI recipients for a moment. Your situation is a bit unique because January 2025 has some special circumstances. Since January 1st is a federal holiday and it falls on a Wednesday, the SSI payment that would normally arrive on January 1st will actually be deposited on December 31st, 2024. This is really important to understand because it means you'll technically receive two payments in December, your regular December payment and your early January payment. I've seen some confusion about this in our community, with people wondering if this means they're getting extra money. Unfortunately, it's not an extra payment. It's just your January payment arriving a day early. You'll need to budget accordingly to make sure this money lasts until your next payment in February. I've helped many viewers create simple budgeting strategies for months when payments arrive early, and I'd be happy to share some tips in our next video if you're interested. Speaking of early payments, let's discuss what happens when your regular payment date falls on a weekend or federal holiday. The Social Security Administration always makes sure you receive your payment on the business day immediately before the weekend or holiday. For example, if your payment would normally arrive on a Saturday, you'll actually receive it on Friday. This is really important to remember when you're planning your monthly budget. Now, I want to address something that's been causing some anxiety among beneficiaries: direct deposit timing. Some banks process Social Security deposits differently than others, which can affect exactly when you see the money in your account. For instance, some banks make the funds available at midnight on the payment date, while others might not post the deposit until later in the morning. If you're concerned about exactly when your fund will be available, I strongly recommend checking with your specific bank about their processing times for Social Security deposits. Let's talk about what you should do if your payment doesn't arrive when expected. This is something that understandably causes a lot of stress, but there's a clear process to follow. The first thing to remember is that you shouldn't panic if your payment isn't in your account first thing in the morning on your scheduled date. Most banks process these payments throughout the day. However, if by the end of the business day you still haven't received your payment, you should contact the Social Security Administration immediately. I want to share a story about Bob, another viewer who recently experienced a payment delay. He was worried when his payment didn't arrive on the expected date, but instead of waiting, he proactively contacted Social Security. It turned out there had been a minor issue with his direct deposit information, and because he acted quickly, they were able to resolve the problem and get his payment to him within 48 hours. The lesson here is that it's always better to address potential issues right away rather than waiting and hoping they'll resolve themselves. Now, let's discuss some important changes coming to the way Social Security communicates payment information. Starting in January 2025, the Social Security Administration will be expanding its digital notification system. This means you'll have more options for receiving updates about your payments, including text messages and email notifications. I strongly encourage everyone to sign up for these notifications as soon as they become available. They're an excellent way to stay informed about any changes or issues with your benefits. Another crucial aspect of the January 2025 schedule involves Medicare premiums. For those of you who have your Medicare premiums deducted directly from your Social Security benefits, there are some important changes you need to be aware of. The standard Part B premium amount is being adjusted, which will affect your net benefit amount. I know this can be confusing, but don't worry. I'll break it down in simple terms. Let's also talk about something that often gets overlooked: the impact of these payment dates on taxes. While it might seem early to think about taxes, understanding how these payment dates affect your tax situation is important. For example, that December 31st payment I mentioned earlier for SSI recipients will count as income for 2024, not 2025. This is the kind of detail that can make a difference when you're preparing your tax return. I've also been getting questions about representative payees and how these schedule changes affect them. If you're a representative payee for someone who receives Social Security benefits, you'll need to make sure you're aware of these new payment dates to properly manage the beneficiary's funds. The responsibility of a representative payee is significant, and staying informed about payment schedules is an essential part of that responsibility. Now, let's discuss something that's particularly relevant for new beneficiaries. If you just started receiving Social Security benefits, or if you're planning to start in early 2025, your first payment might follow a slightly different schedule. The timing of your first payment depends on several factors, including when you filed your application and your type of benefit. Understanding this can help prevent any anxiety about when your first payment will arrive. I want to address a concern that many of you have expressed about payment amounts. While this video focuses on payment dates, I know many of you are worried about whether your benefits will keep pace with inflation. The good news is that Social Security benefits include cost of living adjustments, COLAs, which help maintain your purchasing power over time. The exact COLA for 2025 will be announced later this year, and I'll make sure to cover that in detail in a future video. For those of you who receive both Social Security and SSI benefits, it's especially important to understand how these schedule changes affect you. Having multiple benefit payments can make budgeting more complex, but with proper planning, you can manage your monthly finances effectively. I've worked with many beneficiaries in similar situations, and I've seen how a clear understanding of payment dates can make a huge difference in financial planning. Let's also discuss what happens if you need to change your direct deposit information. While the payment schedule is changing, the process for updating your banking information remains the same. However, it's crucial to remember that any changes to your direct deposit information can take up to 3 payment cycles to take effect. That's why it's so important to plan ahead if you need to make any changes to your payment delivery method. Before we wrap up, I want to emphasize how important it is to keep your contact information up to date with the Social Security Administration. With these schedule changes coming up, they may need to reach you with important information about your benefits. Make sure they have your current phone number, email address, and mailing address on file. Remember, staying informed about your Social Security benefits is crucial for maintaining your financial stability. These schedule changes might seem complicated, but with proper planning and understanding, you can navigate them successfully. Don't forget to like this video if you found it helpful. Subscribe to our channel for more updates about Social Security benefits. and share this information with anyone you know who receives Social Security benefits. In our next video, we'll be discussing strategies for maximizing your benefits, so make sure you've turned on notifications so you don't miss it. Finally, if you have any questions about the January 2025 payment schedule or Social Security benefits in general, please leave them in the comments below. I make sure to read all your comments and address the most common questions in future videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video where we'll dive deep into more Social Security topics that matter to you.